Whether it's the pagan personification of natural forces as the gods, celebrating the role of spiritual beings in the world, or the mythical figure of Santa Claus raining down presents from above, at Christmas, we all seem drawn to celebrate this victory of the dawn over the dark. It's as though something deep within us wants to believe that there could be something more than the monotonous drudgery of a closed materialistic universe. Every year it seems our world gets draped in decorations for Christmas, and every Christmas season we face something of an awkward tension. What exactly are we celebrating? Is Christmas pagan, Christian, or secular? Around December time, you'll hear rumblings in the media that long before Coca-Cola swapped out a Christian holy day for a secular holiday, the Christians were the ones who stole Christmas, transposing the nativity scene onto December 25 in order to plaster over a pagan festival. The usual claim goes something like this, that as paganism waned and Christianity was on the ascendancy in the 4th century AD, Emperor Constantine simply co-opted an already existing pagan holiday, whether Saturnalia or the Sol Invictus festival, and baptized December 25 as Jesus' birthday. So did Christians steal Christmas, or is history a little more complex? Well, December 25 in the Roman Empire marked the winter solstice, at least according to the Julian calendar. Saturnalia, the wild, week-long festival celebrating the god of agriculture, that finished days before December 25, so no problems there. Where things get historically tricky is that the Sol Invictus festival, celebrating the birth of the unconquered sun, that is linked to December 25. But the Sol Invictus cult was only successfully established by Emperor Aurelian in 274 AD, and the first surviving record of the Sol Invictus festival comes from a calendar in 354 AD, some 80 years later. By contrast, it seems that Christmas has an earlier provenance. While the earliest sources for the first Noel, the Gospel of Matthew and the Gospel of Luke, mention no details from which we can ascertain Jesus' actual birthday, the Christian thinkers Hippolytus and Julius Africanus, they began to associate Jesus' birth with December 25 from the early 200s AD. And it seemed that the Christian church in Rome was officially celebrating Christmas by 336 AD. So Christians may have stolen the date from pagans, or pagans might have tried to ride the coattails of Jesus' popularity as the Son of God in order to worship the sun god. Either way, we don't really know who claimed the date first. We don't know who stole Christmas, which is why I don't get finicky about the secularization of Christmas today. Sure, the rampant materialism that neglects the poor, the wasteful commercialization to the detriment of the planet, and the gluttony that harms our bodies, all of those are a blight on the spirit of Christmas. But people are free to choose which story they inhabit. No one has a monopoly on December 25. And for Christians, the date should be largely irrelevant. I mean, at worst, there is a 1 in 365 chance that December 25 really was Jesus' birthday. But there's a reason why the Gospels don't think it important enough to spell out. Why? Because when we celebrate, it doesn't matter. The date is just a container. What we celebrate, the contents of Christmas, that is what ultimately matters. And what I find fascinating about the history of Christmas, whether pagan, Christian, or secular, is the wonder that unites these events. Whether it's the pagan personification of natural forces as the gods, celebrating the role of spiritual beings in the world, or the mythical figure of Santa Claus raining down presents from above, at Christmas, we all seem drawn to celebrate this victory of the dawn over the dark. It's as though something deep within us wants to believe that there could be something more than the monotonous drudgery of a closed materialistic universe. We want to believe in the magic of Christmas. But why? Well, setting aside the truth question about whether Christmas is really a hoax or history, which is something for another video, I want you to imagine for a moment that the Christian story did really happen. The virgin conception, the Bethlehem birth, the angels to the shepherds, the baby in a manger. What would that mean for you? Because according to the Christian story, Jesus is heaven's answer to life's deepest questions. As we're asking, what's our life all about? Jesus' supernatural arrival into our material universe is what illuminates that there is meaning in our cosmos, re-enchanting an otherwise nihilistic existence. As we're asking whether God is even real, the first Noel sung by the angels, it announces God's first steps onto the stage of planet Earth, having written himself into the human drama by becoming one of us in Jesus. As we're asking whether God cares about us in a world full of suffering, the first cries of God incarnate give voice to heaven's answer, as God comes to be with us in our pain, Emmanuel. And as we're asking, what is God like? The humility of the nativity scene, where Jesus slept in a feeding trough, having been born to peasant parents, that shatters any egotistical stereotypes of God. Finally, as we're asking whether there is any hope for a world gone wrong, the coming of the light of the world, the dawn of the eternal sun, that breeds hope that heaven is coming to make all things new. So forget bland historical arguments about the date or who was first. Don't get caught up on which Christmas traditions have the right origin story. Instead, this Christmas, why not take the time to look into Jesus with fresh eyes and see whether in the contents of the Christian story, this baby swaddled in a dusty manger, you'll find the answers you've been searching for to life's deepest questions.
Dan here from Questioning Christianity. Thanks so much for checking us out. We are all about helping you connect the Christian story to life's deepest questions. So if you're enjoying the content, make sure you subscribe and click the bell on YouTube, and then go ahead and follow us on socials.